Welcome to Deep Heights. My name is Deborah. We are beginning Virgo season. We are in Virgo season now. I hope that you're well and taking advantage of the energies of the sign and the season. We have Pisces full moon coming up, the corn moon. Maybe you will have difficulty speaking. Hopefully not. Hopefully I won't. Hopefully I can speak clearly. Anyhow, let's get started. Let's get some energy from the Rave I Chain deck. I just got this deck and I think that it's magical and beautiful. I haven't had a lot of time to fully study it, but like anything else in life, the best way to learn how to do what it is you're learning to do is to do what it is you're learning to do. That's a mouthful. Alright. Holding together, Gate 8. The basic worth realized in contributing individual efforts to group goals. Through example, the contribution of the individual is impressed on the collective. A contribution and leading by example. Interesting. Gate 8. I'm always going to go to the 8th house. 8? Holding together when you're falling apart. Leading by example. Heroism. Keywords here from the lines are communion, dharma, respect, the phony, service, and honesty. I'm not a collectivist in any way, shape, or form. I'm an individualist. I'm a Randian. I'm a freedomist. So when I think about what I do as an individual, am I doing it rightly? What are my intentions? What are my motivations? It doesn't mean I don't care about the collective and I don't care about others. It just means that I'm not going to act in any way based on it being the collective. Any collective is made up of individuals. I'm not going to forfeit my sovereignty, my sanity, my individuality, my freedom as an individual human being with a soul and mind that I've created and worked for. I don't believe in the greater good. I'm not a utilitarian. Life isn't fair. It makes me think about, there's something that Aleister Crowley says in the Book of Thoth when he's talking about the Justice card, which he calls adjustment. And he says that nature is not fair, but it's exact. I don't know where that fits in, but it must be relative. And if we think about the 8th house, that's the card of death, Pluto, of exactness, truth, getting down to the truth, the depths of it. Your efforts are seen. Not just by others, but by yourself. If we are made up of archetypes, if we are those archetypes somehow within, we see them, we see ourselves in each version of that. If we are gods, wow, this feels very like deep, like there's something that is stirring within that wants to come out. Maybe you're going to have to do something unexpected that's going to set you apart from others. Let's see what's hidden here. The Halloween Oracle. see what the dark side of this is. That wasn't dark enough for you. Let's go darker. So we do at Deep Heights, and we make no apologies for it. We want truth. Okay. So we have the lamp. Interesting, I'm talking about going darker. And here we have a light in the darkness. It's a card of remembrance. Piscean energy here with this lunar energy of the moon. Piscean with Pisces is, if we would ever think of a time of madness, it would be the Pisces full moon. Because Neptune's influence on something as moody as the moon is when we can really get lost in the dark. And it's beautiful and poetic when we ask what's hidden, what's darker, and the darkness gives us a light. It gives us a lamp. And I think that there's something in that even the darkness recognizes the need for the light. If it's always us, and we're afraid, and we're having to lead by example, holding together in this unknown territory. Now there's a lamp. Is there something that the darkness remembers about the light? The light loves the darkness. The darkness loves the light. But they're always separate within each other, maybe. That in the darkness, there's always a lamp within this remembrance. What are we remembering? What are you remembering? What do we remember in our souls, in ourselves, in our energies? What can Neptune help us remember? But we need that Virgoan energy to help us stay grounded. That Mercurial energy to help us move quickly through these waters. Mercury has winged feet, hands, help us swim, navigate this time, this energy. Put these down here. I'm feeling the fairies. So we're being given a light in the dark, a lamp, to help us to remember. If we're going to be lost in the dark, lost in these waters. Okay. Let's talk to the fairies. How can the fairies help us to understand, find this light? So we have Ilba the Retriever. And we have Laced, the Moon's daughter. You can see that. I know the lighting is very poor. I only have one light on the other side of the room and a lamp. You are very loved. The fairies love you. You must be kind to nature. Fairies aren't always loving. They're bratty and show up in an interesting way. But here, they like to watch you. They admire you. And these, from the fairy realm, lace the moon's daughter here. This feminine energy of receptivity, hope. There's laughter here in this card. Laughter kills tragedy in the darkness. Laughter can light up a room. I think of sorrow when I see Ilva, because something's been lost and he's retrieved it for you. Here, this pearl. Find pearls in the ocean. In these Neptunian waters. I feel like when I first saw these cards, I felt very emotional. This wave of relief at finding. There's something that you're finding. Maybe it's your laughter again. That you felt really alone. Talking about at the beginning, this energy of your individual contribution of working very, very hard. When you lead by example, it means you're always being seen. For some reason, I just thought of Alexander the Great. You know, as a leader, as a military leader, he fought with his men, he walked with his men, he slept with his men, he starved with his men. You know, he didn't walk he didn't have like a special tent. He wasn't carried. He was a warrior king, emperor. You know, it's just what I thought about. The fairy godmother. This means that you've made really, really good choices, and I'm going to tell you why. She has a pearl, and she has an apple in her hand. You see, it's absolutely fascinating the way that these stories unfold. We have a choice always in life. Are we going to take the easy way, or are we going to take the hard way? I had this beautiful reading, I don't remember, last year, I think, with it's called The Way of the Pearl. I think I called that reading. Fairy godmother was there. You know, with the apple, we consume knowledge, we consume life and information. We are consumers, eaters of life. Maybe that's why they said they have become as we are, the gods, the rulers. They live off of man, those gods at least. And you have the pearl. The pearls are created. This little grain of sand that gets in the shell, and it's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable process. Imagine that you're a little oyster, and you know, you're all fleshy and doing your oyster business, and you get a grain of sand in your shell. You can't get it out. So what do you do with it? The oyster's like, oh, okay, whatever. Let's do something with this. It's really uncomfortable. I don't like it. But we're going to make the best of it, and we're going to build on it, and we're going to see what happens. And you get a pearl, a beautiful pearl. That's what's been found for you, and that's what's going to be found for you, or is an opportunity for you to find a pearl. But I feel like if you've been leading by example, you've made the right choice. But we don't just get one choice and we go the right way and we don't ever have to make any other choices. No, we are constantly making choices, consciously and unconsciously, voluntarily and involuntarily. Our body is always making choices, our mind, everything about us, making choices, doing. But you need help. That's what this light is about. So let's find out about that. Let's find out about this help. And you've got helpers. Let's get an animal energy for your help. You're being watched, I feel like, by this laced, this feminine energy. She has the legs of a horse. She's very free. Sagittarian energy here. 9th house. 38 is 11. Justice. I think Jupiter likes to be in Libra. Jupiter would like to be in the 7th house. Jupiter and Venus are sisters. There's a kookiness with this energy, which I know Virgos. I've known in Virgo and Mars in Virgo. I think I've mentioned that. I'm so proud. I feel like a Virgo most of the time. But Virgos that I know are very serious, very practical people, very down to earth, very learned, very loving, very caring. Some of the most brilliant people that I know. One of the most brilliant men that I know is a doctor, and he's a Virgo, and he blows me away. But they can be very funny. There's a need for laughter. I think I said that. So what help have we here? Who's our helper? Fox on the bottom. So we have the beaver and the stingray. Really interesting. Very, very interesting. Talking about that laughter, the beaver, the stingray. You know, beavers build dams. We know that. They work very hard. But they're happy. Beaver energy is very happy. It's childlike and innocent. It just wants to build. Wants to stop that water from flowing. Wants to build a dam and play in it. Of course, not of course, but I just was thinking about It, that movie, It. The book. I read the book. That was the first book that I read. It was about 12. That was like the first big. Anyway. Sorry. They are down in Derry, the kids, and they build a dam. They come together and they build a dam. Everything's horrible in Derry, and they build a dam and they get caught because they don't really know what they're doing. What does it mean to dam the water? Because when you dam a flowing water, it can flood, it can overflow. So here, the stingray is very emotional. I always think stingray energy is overly emotional. It doesn't really know what it's doing. It hides on the sand, the bottom, and fucker killed Steve Irwin. We ain't got no love for a stingray in my house. Okay? But they're overly emotional. So there's definitely a lesson that needs to be learned here about leading by example. You've been working very hard, but do you know what you're doing? Talking about leadership. But the only way to learn is by doing. Of course, we can build something and we can build it beautifully. We build this beautiful dam, this beautiful structure, and it's perfect in all of its beingness. But what is its purpose? What's the reason that we're building it? the reason why we're leaving, the reason why we're making our pearl. You know, what is this soul-making process? Because I feel like with the beaver, you have the ability and the knowledge to build a structure to help contain the water. Maybe it knocks us down. It's a fucking tidal wave coming and knocking us over, right? Or it's just rushing through. I don't know, there's something in that about building just to build. So what are the reasons why you're building? Then these are not helpers, they're hindrances. I don't feel like these are helpers, I feel like these are hindrances, actually. And I can't even turn it around because that's what I asked. So, let's, do we have help here from the animals? Who will help us? Who will help us to understand what it is that we're building and why we're building it? Just one card, please. Show us clearly. We have the dolphin. This is the happiest card in the animal deck for me, the dolphin card. Very intelligent. Emotional intelligence here. Daniel, Goodman? Anyway, Emotional Intelligence is a book written 15 years ago, maybe 20. Excellent book. This is about emotional intelligence and learning and growing here. This is your pearl, your emotional intelligence here in the water. A lot of water, a lot of emotions, a lot of it comes more naturally to some of us being in the water. Emotions. Some of us handle it better. And others of us just want to build just so we're doing something so we don't have to think about the fucking water, the emotions of it. But the dolphin is never building a structure. The dolphin is just being in the water. Freely, in a different way than like the stingray. You know, the stingray is square, which is nothing wrong with a square. But in alchemy, we talk about circling the square. And here we have the dolphin with its circles. And here's your pearl, your stone, your soul, the philosopher's stone, the pearl of great price. This is very emotional. I want to weep, like this deep weep. But there's happiness. I was just reading, I don't know, I just saw a quote, and I don't remember who it was, but it was that the feeling is so similar between grief and happiness, between joy and tears, you know, that the feeling's almost the same. It's overwhelming. And this is about holding together and not, did I say at the beginning it felt like there was something like deep within that wanted to come out? Like it could just obliterate tear you apart. You explode, you fucking combust because you can't contain this water. About this beaver. Beaver's not necessarily a hindrance then, if we need to build ourselves in a way that we don't bust the seams. Beaver energy can help us hold it together. There's something we can learn about the square, which is a structure, which is about foundations. The four, the emperor. If you look at Egyptian gods and goddesses, they sit on cubes. This is the cube, which would unfold. Here, you have the chakras aligned. That's just another way of being unfolded, aligned. That's poetic, how it went from a helper to a hindrance to a helper. When we realize the process and the purpose, recognizing the opportunities that come along to us through time, through the seasons, through the planets, the energies, the angles that they make to each other, and the way that the planets speak to each other is within us. We are a part of them. They are parts of us. And when we can be in that, and a wonderful friend of mine taught me about the Newman. And being in that, just being, not trying, not learning, not wanting, just being calmly, rationally, intelligently, but happily. We don't have to numb ourselves to life, because a dolphin's very sensitive, very feeling, very open, receptive to the energy of nature and the world. It sends out communications through the water. However, frequencies, energetic. I don't know exactly how dolphins communicate, but it bounces off and they pick up these frequencies. And we do that as human beings, whether we recognize it or not, energetically. What is it that we need to understand about this situation that we're not seeing? Can you show us, please, what we're not seeing? We have the Three of Cups and the Eight of Cups. Death card on the bottom of the deck. This would be 11 cups, which would be 2. 2 of Cups. Venus in Cancer. Sorry. I feel like you could be surrounded by great beauty, wealth, friends, get-togethers, happy communication, joyous, but it doesn't satisfy you. what I feel like is that you have an abundance of dissatisfaction. Insolence is the name of this card, of just not having the momentum, the energy, the will any longer to move, to go forward. Laziness, this could be as well. Emotional laziness, which is why we have Pluto coming in here with the Death card to help you to transform, to help you to move, to create the pearl. This is the grain of sand, the catalyst, but this is you, because Pluto isn't going to allow you to not see. I think of Scorpio energy as fire water, and I was looking at the lamp and I was thinking, wow, so there's a fire in the water, there's a light in the depths of the water. How do we have this light in the water? This is your light in the water, right here, Pluto. Fire. I know that this is water, a water sign. It's a fixed water sign, Scorpio, but I always think of it as fire water. It burns. Scorpio burns this energy here. Talk about burning. We have the Princess of Discs. Interesting. The Princess of Fire. But this is being completely comfortable in that fire. You know, this is after, this is when you have that pearl with Pluto. You know, this is Sagittarius energy, which comes right after Scorpio. Scorpio has lessons for Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy has already passed through this. Fire, water. Interesting, these elements, the elements are seemingly interchangeable here, how we signify, and each sign has an element and quality attached to it, but are they correct? Are they changeable? Are they interchangeable? Can they be changeable? Are they supposed to be fixed? Life is always moving and changing if we're always growing. What would it be now if the masters who designed and read the stars, mapped the stars, created tarot, astrology, studied the stars for millennia? They're not static. These energies are not static. They are alive. They move and they change. Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck with the Princess of Wands. The Pearl. Three of Swords reversed here. FireWater. So I'm going to name this reading FireWater. This will be significant for you. Fire being the will to move, to keep going. Because you've created your pearl, you've got it. And once you have that, I feel like once you have that knowledge, it's something that you always have. It's stored somewhere within us, within our energy, within our being. And maybe that's what we need to remember, this remembrance here with the light, that you are the light. In the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, can't even speak, not very Mercurian of me. He talks about going deep into the halls of Amenti. And he goes down and he's shown the flames, the souls, and he sees the flames. Some are very bright and some are dim. And I think that that's each one of us through our processes, that we're always alive and we're always going through these processes of change, creating our pearl, layers of iridescent beauty, and then we get rid of all that's superfluous or unnecessary, or as we go through life, it gets tainted and tarnished, and, we're human beings. Things stick to us. We make poor choices. We pick things up, eat bad, do bad. But Pluto comes around and helps us to stir that up, to remove that energy. And while all of this we're discussing, I think that it's important that we talk about the holding together and the leading by example. Because it means that there's someone watching you. I'm saying that you're being watched by this energy, this laced energy. Being watched by your children, your behavior, by your family, partner, your boss, anyone. Spirit is always watching us, leading by example. You could be a hero to someone. We never know. We never know what others think of us. Some say it's not our business what others think of us. Maybe. Okay. I think that we're going to close. Let's not close. Let's get some advice from the Tarot of the Cloisters. Let's get some advice for Spirit here. We have the Hermit, Virgo, and the Four of Swords. I think the Four of Swords is Jupiter in Libra. I'm not sure, but I think that's what the Four of Swords is. How do we get this wisdom of the Hermit energy versus Virgo? We look inside, we go within, we remove ourselves from others, and we get the job done. What does this say? This says, the basic worth realized in contributing individual efforts to group goals. Through example, the contribution of the individual is impressed upon the collective. This is the sage, the mage, the magus, grown, learned, experienced. There's a story by Manly P. Hall called, it's about a hermit. Nature's Homage is the name of that story. I'm going to post it, link it. If you don't cry when you read that, don't ever speak to me again. Stillness, meditation, calm. Let's see what else we have here. Sorry, the cards kind of... Oh. Beautiful. So we have the Empress and the Devil. Saturn loves Libra. Saturn loves Venus. Capricorn loves Libra. Libran energy loves Capricornian energy. Because they both love truth, justice, and rightness. And the Empress here. Both earth signs. Actually, this is Taurus Venus, and we have Capricorn, and Taurus, fixed and cardinal earth, here, mutable earth. Thinking about these different qualities of cardinal, of fixed, and mutability as we go through thinking about we go through the seasons of time. The Empress and the Devil energy here can help you build, will give you the stamina, the will, the hand for it, the talent to build something strong and beautiful. These are helpers as well. A FireWater, this devil has a lot of fire here. You can see a lot of water on this Empress card. It would do good for you to consider earth energy, what that means, the quality, the element of earth, being grounded. I was thinking about the ruler of Virgo is Mercury. Excuse me. And through time, I think things get lost, and I have to wonder if Mercury is the natural ruler of Virgo. I tend to think not. What that was, I don't know. Maybe there's a planet that doesn't exist that ruled Virgo. That's so Neptunian and Piscean, like there was another planet that doesn't exist that ruled Virgo. I love it. I think it's beautiful. Let's close with a sister. What have you to say, sisters? They won't say anything until I say this. So, Saturn has been retrograding in Capricorn for the last little while. And Saturn will go direct in Capricorn on September the 27th, actually. And I feel like if you've, not if, but that you have been working so hard, putting in the work to build, that when Saturn goes direct, you will have your reward, your pearl. Perhaps then you'll recognize it. If there have been challenges and restrictions and there have been no lights, you will get help. From Venus, from Earth Venus. You will get help. Restrictions will be lifted. And it will be dependent upon the work that you put in. Now we can close. What say you, sisters? Energy. magic on the bottom of the deck. There's this moon above her, but it kind of looks like a pearl. Here, this energy around a tree. Those are white apples growing on that tree. Pearl apples. Talking about that remembrance, you know, about life, about the tree of life, about where it comes from. And we remember who we are if we're like a tree and we're connected to the past, connected to the now, because trees are connected to the past and history is shown in them and within them, but they're also alive now just like we are, and we would do well to remember that. She's wearing a red dress here. Mars, of the will. Energy, where it comes from. Look up your Mars, what house it's in. Mars is going retrograde in Aries on the 7th. And we have magic. Magic exists, but you have to be the magician. You have to make the magic happen. Sydney Sheldon. Make the magic happen.